morning, everyone. It's Snack, Crackle and Pop BMW. Right, so what's going down? What's occurring? Well, Grizz is off. He's off to do something. You're probably not going to like it, but I'm off for a test ride. And yeah, the BMW, I'm sorry to say, me and the BMW are going to have to part ways. We're going to have to part. Now, why? Why on earth would I get rid of this bike? It's a cracking bike. It's a beautiful looking bike. It sounds great. It's as fast as you like. And that actually is part of the problem. It's... how can I say this without really not sounding a complete prune? But basically this bike is almost too fast. Does that make any sense? I don't know if any of you have any kind of like ever owned a bike like this where basically you're climbing in 6th gear towards the red line and you go over a bit of a bump and the front wheel starts lifting off, starts doing a wheelie on you. And basically this bike does that from 100 mile an hour upwards, and of course you can do it below. So Grizz, you know, has had a few little enthusiastic rides recently, and after his first enthusiastic ride he said to himself he's not going to do that again. He's going to kind of keep a lid on it and be a bit more sensible. And then he went out again and kind of did it all over again, and 130 mile an hour wheelies, and I don't know exactly what speed I was doing another time, but it was in 6th gear and reaching near the red line, and yeah, the road was all kind of undulating, and each time I went over a crest of a hill, every time I went over a little crest, the bike started pulling a wheelie on me. And the worst thing about it is that I actually started getting used to it. And it's not funny really. And how often do I ever ride like that? Hardly at all, you know. A lot of the time I'm using this bike locally to toddle around, and I never reach any of those speeds ever. And it's just a bit of fun. And it's silly really, guys, because I've bought this bike. It's like I bought the Panigale and I couldn't justify the money for how bad the finish was really for me. You know, the paintwork was rubbing away, and you know, I wanted to put a new exhaust on it, and that was about 3 or 4 grand. I couldn't justify the money, you know. And I guess I keep coming back to that. I'm not a tight ass with money. I spend my money on things that I like, but I also need to justify that to myself. But is it worth it? And if I'm kind of putting myself at risk, it's not worth it. It's certainly not worth it. So my riding has to change, because it's not worth losing your life over a bit of speed, you know. Not to mention my license, you know, for my work, I'll be absolutely stuffed. So that's not funny. And yeah, it's, you know, all fair and well sitting back and watching these guys. It was like a scene off of the TT, you know, when you're like getting on full on the power and you got the throttle wide open and you're going over bumps and the front's just lifting off, you know, and you're doing kind of wheelies, power wheelies basically. And it just feels a little bit, although this has got wheelie control, etc., it's still, I'm not really comfortable with it, and it entices me to go quick. And I don't need to be doing that. I don't need to be doing it. And the other problem is at those speeds, everything goes wrong very, very quickly. And I don't care how good a rider you are on the road, there's just too many risks. And I can't justify it basically. And I'm a bit stupid still. I used to ride like a bloody idiot when I was younger, and I've calmed down a lot. yeah, I've changed a lot, I guess, and I fantasized with buying this bike and doing it up in the way that I've done it. I'm really happy for that. But the reality of my labour, my fruits of my labour, are actually quite alarming, and it's stuff you just don't expect. You know, you don't expect to be doing that. So basically, I'm going to sell it, guys. I feel stupid. I feel a bit embarrassed by it, but also, you know, I love biking. I love riding. I need my license. I don't want to lose my license through me being stupid and reckless. And there comes to a point where you've got to be honest with yourself. And now it's going to sit in my garage probably a lot of the time. I'm not going to use it in the winter. It's just going to sit there, and then when I take it out, I'm going to toddle around on it, and the occasional blat that I'm going to go way too fast, and I can't justify it. It's a lot of money tied up in the bike, and it's a big risk to me, I guess. Now, I know I can sell this bike and buy another bike that will be just as good for me, you know, better for me, you know, something that's not quite as balls out as this. And I have a few bikes on my list and a few ideas, and some of you might like the sound of it and some of you might not, but come the end of the day, I've got to do what's right for me, you know, and what's right for Taffy as well, you know. So yeah, the Beamer is going. The list of bikes that I'm thinking of, I'm going to test ride one today. It's a Ducati. Oh no, I've gone back to Ducati again. I'm also going to test ride a KTM 790, the new one, because it's such a good package, got so many extras for the money. I'm also going to test ride a standard new Super Duke, just to compare that against lamb chops, and because I really do like the Super Duke, but I wasn't really happy and confident in that front end, and I actually want to ride one and feel more confident in the front end and buy one. So yeah, those are possible bikes. Now, with the Ducati I'm looking at, is a fair bit cheaper than the newer KTMs, about half the price, maybe less, which will leave me with a nice little lump sum. Now I'm thinking, with that lump sum, I will buy myself a Supermoto. I really fancy it. I really fancy, more so actually, just getting off-road and getting away from everything. I spend my work, you know, I drive for a living and I cover like 80,000 miles a year. That's not an exaggeration either. And I spend a lot of time out on the roads in the traffic, and I love my bikes. I'm in love with bikes, and I want to enjoy it in a different way and just go off-road and actually just chill out a bit, you know. I'm not going to go like, you know, crazy motocross. So what I'm aiming to buy is either kind of like an enduro bike and then turning it into a supermoto, or a motocross bike and turn it into a supermoto, and then having that option with the two sets of wheels, one set with off-road tyres and another set with road tyres, and enjoy a bit of both and be able to use it through the winter. So yeah, cheaper bike plus a supermoto. Also, I've just bought some bits and pieces, extra bits and pieces I've been missing for the BMW Scrambler project, so I'm hoping to get that built and maybe use that as well, or maybe I'll just sell it. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I'll see how I feel when I get to the end of it. So yeah, that's kind of the plan at the moment. So yeah, I might soak all my money into a nice one bike and have the BMW Scrambler build to use as a second bike. It really all depends how happy I am with that second, with the BMW Scrambler build. Yeah, or buy a cheaper bike cheaper super sports bike. But what I don't want another 1000cc sports bike. I'm sorry to say, guys. I love them. I adore them. I've had plenty of them over the years. But over 30 years of biking now, and I know my way around on the bikes, what they offer and what they do, what they don't do. And I don't need that top end rush. I don't need it anymore. It's too risky. There's too many years ago when I started biking and I first of all got on big bikes, there wasn't speed cameras about. There was a lot more police about on the road, mind you. So from a risk standpoint of losing my license, it's a higher likability. So yeah, that's where I am with it basically. We're gonna see. I'm gonna test ride some bikes. There's a few interesting things going on, you know. Taffy is still trying for her license. When she gets her license, whatever she gets, she's got a couple of bikes in mind and they should be nice bikes. So yeah, and I shall have use of those as well. So Grizz is being very selfish, I know. But I'm not spending a world of money, guys. This is not like mega money. You know, I'm going to be spending around 10 grand, maybe a little bit more, and quite possibly a lot less, you know. I might even buy everything I need, 2 bikes for, say, no more than about 8 grand. So yeah, that's where we are with it, guys. I hope you're not too disappointed. I love the BMW, but I'm just too much of a jerk to ride it sensibly, although I can do it. And to be honest, 99% of the time I ride it well within my own kind of abilities, and definitely well within the bike's abilities. But there is that 1% of the time that, you know, I've just got a bit too carried away and I've gone and done it again, you know. So chastise myself, restrict myself. I don't think you're going to be disappointed with my choices, but if you are, I'm sorry, you know. What can I say, you know, guys? It's just Grizz and his bikes, and yeah, it is what it is, really. Right, I'm not really sure how long I've chatted away there. I'm going to head on out now for this test ride. Bring you that'll be a separate vlog. So yeah, enjoy the next vlog. It's going to be a test ride. It's going to be a Ducati that probably you won't be able to guess what it's going to be. And yeah, there's going to be some more test rides after as well. I'm definitely test riding the KTM 790. I'm going to also go with the Super Duke, and there might be some more bikes in there, because there's just too much to choose from nowadays, isn't there, really, bikes wise. So yeah, I look forward to bringing them now. Hope you're all well. Hope you enjoyed the vlog, and yeah, hope you're not too sad. Don't bash on me and beating me too hard. Grizz is just trying to be a little bit sensible. There's nothing sensible about riding sports bikes. There's nothing sensible about riding bikes at all. It makes a massive amount of sense to me because I love it. But you put yourself at risk no matter what you're on. You can speed on no matter what you're on. And you can lose your license on no matter what you're on. You can lose your life on no matter what you ride as well. But I can't justify nearly the best part of maybe 200 mile an hour wheelies. I just cannot justify that. This bike is fucking nuts. There is no two ways about that. People call it a gentleman's sports bike. I'll tell you what, there is nothing really very much gentlemanly about this bike. It's a fucking loon. That's all there is to it, guys. It is you know, it really all depends how you ride it. But anyway, yeah, there we go. I'm done. You're done. I'll see you on the next one. Love to you all. Cheers, guys. Bye now. Bye.